Hi folks, Dave, the Honest Audiophile. This is the BQEYZ Topaz, and these are my Honest Audiophile impressions. I want to thank BQEYZ for providing the Topaz for review. Do greatly appreciate it. BQEYZ, you rock. Okay, so the Topaz, this is going to come with several different options. It's going to come in purple or brown, and then it'll have 2.5, 3.5, or 4.4 termination options. It has a hybrid configuration of a 13mm LCP or liquid crystal polymer dynamic diaphragm, and also a 9-layer piezoelectric ceramic driver. Has impedance of 32 ohms, sensitivity of 108 decibels, and a frequency range of 5 Hz to 40 kilohertz. It'll set you back about $90 in your bank account. Topaz comes in this very simple box, a little bit of information on the back side, and then on the inside you're going to get a carrying case that says BQEYZ, and then also you're going to get two different types of silicone tips. You're going to get these ones that are somewhat wide bore and a little bit of a typical cone shape, and then you're going to get these other ones that are more shallow and even a wider bore. And I used the stock tips. I had no problems using the black ones, which are more conical shaped. The ones that are more shallow did not fit my ears. You also get your IEMs. And as you can see, we got the purple ones here, and they're very well built. Connects with a 2-pin cable. Very nice cable. I like the cable. Feels good in the hand. Nice and soft. It doesn't tangle. And it feels very nice, especially for the price tag of $90 IEM. There's your shells. Pretty standard shape. Have a little bit of a wing. Somewhat of a shallow nozzle. It's not the shortest, but it's also not the longest. It has a nice angle to it, but it is a little bit on the short side, and that just makes fit to be a little finicky. It may work great for some, may be a little bit troublesome for others. For me, it's kind of troublesome. I have to really kind of play around with them for the first few moments that they're in my ears, just to make sure that the fit is good and that they're snug. Once they're in place, they're fine, and they do okay with isolation of outside noises. They're not the greatest at that, but they're okay. It's just that the fit is just a little bit finicky, but once they're in, they're nice and comfortable, and I can wear them for a good hour, hour and a half before they start getting uncomfortable. As far as powering them, they work very well and very easy with most dongles, DAPs, and desktops. I mostly use them with dongles coming out of my phone, which is a OnePlus 9 Pro, and I had no issues whatsoever. I did find that they prefer certain dongles over others. The 3 dongles that I preferred them on and really enjoyed them with was the Heidi's S9 Pro, the 7Hz 71, and the Periodic Audio Rhodium. And I found that those 3 really paired very nicely with the Topaz, and that I got a very pleasing and enjoyable sound signature. Before we get into how the Topaz sounds, I would like to thank my supporters through YouTube memberships and through Patreon. Do greatly appreciate everything that you provide, all the sacrifices that you make through your daily and monthly finances, and how that you give towards the channel to support it. And I do greatly appreciate it. If it wasn't for the support that I got, wouldn't be able to purchase products to review and to use in comparisons, also for gear to enhance and to produce the videos like lighting and microphones and the such. So thank you very much for all that you provide. Oh, also another thing that the funds provide is coffee while I put together these reviews. Thank you very much. If you're interested in becoming a supporter of the channel, please check out the links down below. Okay, how do the BQEYZ Topaz sound? The sound of the Topaz is actually very laid back and pleasing. It's a very easygoing and enjoyable sound signature. The bass of the Topaz has a nice thump to it, has good energy, and is just an overall I'm here to entertain. Now, it's not the most bombastic and the hardest hitting bass. It doesn't have a lot of sub bass, but there is enough rumble and grumble and enough texture in the bass to keep things sounding realistic and real. And overall, I really do enjoy the bass. It has a toe tapping mid bass, and upper bass does bleed into the lower mids a little bit, adding a little bit of thickness and a little bit of warmth to the overall presentation. And I find that overall, the whole bass is just engaging and fun. I do wish that there was a little bit more impact and a little bit more slam, especially in the more sub bass areas where it needed just a little bit more of the rumble and grumble. Mids do gather some warmth from the upper bass. It does bleed in just a little bit, and it adds some nice body, especially to instruments that reside down there and male vocals. And I find that overall, the presentation of the Topaz is just very pleasing in the mids. Everything sounds proper. It has good tone and timbre, and it's just a very pleasing and engaging mid that has a lot of the just overall presence that you look for. And detail retrieval and resolution is good, and I find that it has a nice space and just overall a warm ooey gooiness to the presentation. Upper mids are a little bit elevated, and there at times can be moments of a little bit of sibilance and a little bit of just a little forwardness, but that's kind of few and far between, and I find that overall it's just a very pleasing and engaging mid. Treble is very laid back. It has a kind of mellowness to it. It has enough energy and sparkle to keep things engaging, but I do wish I had just a little bit more, especially a little bit more air and just a little bit more sparkle and sizzle. Some instruments can sound a little dull and a little bit just too laid back up top, especially like cymbals, and some brass and woodwind instruments will miss out on that a little bit extra crispness. But overall, I really do enjoy the treble of the Topaz. I find that it has a more laid back, mellow approach to things. And so if you do have a tendency to find treble to be a little aggressive or a little bit hot, especially in the lower regions around 8 to 10K, the Topaz kind of tames that out just a little bit. Soundstage of the Topaz is more on the natural side of things. It's not the widest, but it's not narrow either, and it's also not intimate. It does a good job of portraying stage sizes, and it keeps it more in the accurate side of things, whereas some IEMs, especially in this price point, will tend to stretch things a little bit and kind of give you that wow factor. And the Topaz is more of, I'm going to present it in a more natural and realistic way. Depth is very good on the Topaz, and also imaging is good. It's not super precise and accurate. It's more like it's over in this neighborhood, it's over here, and you can follow things across the stage, but you can't really pinpoint and hone in on them. So overall, I find that the Topaz is a very pleasing and engaging and just a fun sound signature, and it just does things right, and it just makes me kind of go, I can listen to these for longer. I don't mind these. I enjoy them. And when it comes to how do they compare to other IEMs, they kind of stay competitive. And it's kind of an interesting comparison to the TINHIFI T3 Plus. And oh man, my cable here is really tangled up. But the T3 Plus from TINHIFI. The TINHIFI T3 Plus has a cable that really does tangle up quite a bit and can be kind of annoying. Sound-wise, the T3 Plus has a little bit more brightness to it and a little bit more sparkle and energy, and it also has a little bit more bass impact, especially that sub bass that is a little bit on the lacking side on the Topaz. The T3 Plus will give you that little bit more of a and kind of get you a little bit more texture and a little bit more power and authority. And then up top, the detail retrieval and resolution is slightly better, and also they are a little bit more forward and a little bit more sparkle and energy and a little bit more aggressive, but yet at the same time do not get sibilant or harsh, and are still very pleasing. But if you're a little sensitive to treble, you may find the T3 Plus has just a little too much for you. And then the other IEM that the Topaz is close to in sound signature is the Titan S from Dunu. And again, the cable of the Titan S is not as good as the one on the BQEYZ. And I find that the Titan doesn't have as much bass impact. It is more detailed, but it's not as impactful, and it's kind of more on the linear side of things and has a little bit more neutrality to it. Mids are a little bit more forward, but also are more clear and have better body and note weight. And the Titan S is a more detailed sound than the Topaz. Treble, though, is more elevated and can be a little bit more sparkly and energetic, just like the T3 Plus, but the Titan does have a little bit more in spots and can be a little bit more authoritative and aggressive in its presentation. So overall, the Topaz. I really like the Topaz, and I find that the Topaz is a very pleasing and engaging type of sound that's just very fun, and I recommend it for $90 if that's what you're looking for. If you think that the Titan S or the T3 Plus has just a little too much sizzle up top for you, then the Topaz may be what you're looking for. It's been Dave, the Honest Audiophile. Thank you for watching, and I'll catch you on the next video. Speaking of next video, somewhere on screen, subscription links, notification bells. If you haven't already, please check those off. Don't forget to give a thumbs up or a thumbs down to the video. Also, don't forget to check out all the links down below. There's all kinds of information down there regarding how you can contact the channel, follow the channel, support the channel, all kinds of good stuff down there, like gear recommendations and music recommendations and tier lists and all kinds of other things down below. So check out those links. Don't forget to check out the Patreon and YouTube memberships. And also, don't forget to enjoy the music, and that honesty is the best policy.